In today's video, we're working on the steering for the 67 Ford truck. We're also going to take a look at the bottom end for the 482 that we took over to my brother's shop. If you haven't already, check out the previous video, which I will post up here, of us pulling the motor out of this truck. So let's go ahead and get on with the build. All right, so as you can see here, we've gone ahead and we've worked on the steering a bit on this truck. We already had it pretty well mocked up. We went ahead and finished welding the upper joint up here to the factory steering column coming down. We also added a split lock collar so the shaft could not pull back up through the firewall. We do need to check on this angle here just to make sure that this is not going to be an issue. It does not bind up currently. It does seem to be at a pretty good pitch on one hand. Still in question is this steering rack. We are not sure if it is a high pressure or low pressure. There's no part numbers on it except a date code. It does appear to be a low pressure just based on the research that I've done. It's more of a speedway type kit for this front end with this A-arm style. It's just a generic kit, and usually those are low pressure. And we're running a Saginaw pump, which is high pressure, so we will have to get that switched back over. As you can see here with the motor out, we actually doubled up on these plates. I had some plates cut out. We doubled those up for the motor just because I didn't think they were going to be beefy enough. We also clearanced the cross member for the transmission pan. We do have our cross member in the back there for our rear transmission mount. That's all good to go. And moving along here, we did, with the steering, get that all installed and also changed over the steering wheel. We added a quick release steering wheel in here, got rid of the old style. That's still a pretty neat steering wheel, but it was kind of missing some stuff to my liking, so I went ahead and changed this. I've had this sitting up on the shelf now. It is quick release, so just squeeze the back, slide it off. So on here, I went ahead, this was threaded on here. I could run the nut down, you sink this down in there so the steering shaft was centered, and went ahead and welded that on there, ground that off. Otherwise there wasn't enough clearance to go into this quick release hub and seat all the way in, but that is working, so that turned out nice. Go ahead and put that back on. This seat here is a seat that I had sitting up on the shelf, so I went ahead and grabbed it down just to throw it in there. You always got to see what it feels like when you're sitting on it. You can't not do that. The floor down here, we had cut out originally because we planned to raise the motor and transmission up. And so to clearance the transmission, we were just going to redo the trans tunnel. Now we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it in the position it's in. So I went ahead and tack welded that back in a few places. Well, I'll finish it off with some seam sealer. The floor is obviously shot, so I'm not real worried about it. I do have other options for this, but at this point, we'll stick with what it is. So that's everything there. So now we will head over to the brother's shop, pull off that pan, take a look at the bottom end, and actually see if we have any damage or anything going on with that, and we'll continue from there. We're going to be tearing apart the big block today, pulling the pan off. We'll check the bearings, see what we got, and then we're going to get this motor over to the dyno and see what kind of power it makes. Brand new. Okay, so the bearings and the 482 were perfect. We didn't talk much when we were tearing that down. We were just trying to get things done. That was my brother and myself. So everything's good to go. We just need to get the rod and the main cap that we took off torqued back down. We'll get an oil pan gasket coming. We need inlet gaskets for the top spacers, blower gaskets, and some other miscellaneous things. Hopefully we can have those by next weekend so we can get this on the dyno and get the motor fired up on there so we can hear this thing run. Stay tuned. We appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And again, I know this videos are short, but we're just trying to keep you guys in the loop of what we're doing, and we appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you.